I recently posted a video about tips you need when you're applying for a Schengen visa. I just felt it was only necessary for me to follow it up with this video. Now that you have your Schengen visa, what are the things you need to know? Depending on the kind of visa you got, it will either be single entry, double entry, or multiple entry. Now, these are the rules surrounding the single entry Schengen visa. You can fly into the Schengen zone. Once you leave the Schengen zone, then your visa becomes invalid. For example, you can go to Serande in Albania from Corfu in Greece. So if you flew into Corfu and you think you want to take a quick trip to Serande in Albania with a single entry Schengen visa, you would not be allowed back into Corfu because you have used up your single entry Schengen visa just because you left the Schengen zone. But this would not be the case if you had a double entry or a multiple entry Schengen visa. A double entry Schengen visa would let you go in the second time, but if you were to leave again, you would not be allowed to come back into the Schengen zone. But this is not the case with the multiple entry Schengen visa. The multiple entry Schengen visa just means you can go into the Schengen zone as many times as you want with no restrictions within the specified time stated on your visa, and as long as you're following the 90-180 rule. The first country you enter doesn't have to be the country that issued you the visa. Now, there are two rules to the Schengen rule, which states that it's either you apply through the country that's going to be your first port of entry, or you apply through the country that you're going to be spending the longest days. So, for example, if you're going to be going to Greece for 3 days and it's your first port of entry, you could apply to Greece. If you're later going to be going to Malta for 7 days, then you could also apply to 7 days, and then you go in through Malta, or you could also go in through Greece if you wanted, as long as that's what you stated on your visa. Also, did you know that the Schengen country can not only get you into countries that are within the Schengen zone, but can also get you into some other countries in Europe, like Cyprus, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and some other non-Schengen countries, but are also in Europe. The only countries I am aware of off the top of my head that you cannot get into in Europe and are not part of the Schengen zone is the UK, Ireland, Turkey, Russia, and Ukraine. Those are the countries I can remember off the top of my head, but do your own research. With these countries, you also have to be very careful with the kind of visa you have, just so you don't go out of the Schengen zone thinking because you can visit those countries with a Schengen visa. If you have a single entry Schengen visa, I would advise that you just stay within the Schengen zone and don't bother exploring out. Like I said, the internet is always available for you. You only need to Google, is this country in the Schengen zone? And it would bring it out for you. So now that you're going to be traveling to Europe, one thing you should be wary of is converting using certain ATMs. It's easier if you withdraw money at like bank's ATM, but you see this Euronet ATM, don't go near it. Their charges are outrageous because you'd end up paying fees of like €5 for withdrawing money when it's free of charge in the right next available bank's ATM. We all know that the Schengen visa does not have like a predetermined number of years or months they give you. Some countries give you as low as 7 days if that is what you wrote on your visa. Now, it is best to avoid those kind of countries because they make it like a waste of effort. So one hack is, now that you've applied for your first Schengen visa, it is always best to go back to that same country that issued your previous visa or 2 visas after. This then increases your chance of getting a 6-month, a 1-year, a 2-year Schengen visa, because there's a rule that states that if you've had 3 Schengen visas within a particular year, you're entitled to an automatic 1-year Schengen visa the next time you're applying. I would think that only stands if you're applying to the same country as you've applied before. You need to have all your documentations ready when you're traveling. You need to have them easily accessible for when they are requested for at the border control. So you don't want to get to the border control and they're asking you to present like accommodation of where you'll be staying and things like that, and you have none. This makes you look fraudulent. This wastes your time. Everybody gets agitated. The border control officer is getting agitated. You're getting agitated. So just have everything ready for you to go. Now, one thing that works for me traveling within Europe has been using a Leica mobile SIM. I'm going to tell you for free, a Leica mobile SIM has helped me in terms of my European travels, because all I need to do is I just pay a monthly fee of about £15 and I can use it in the UK and when I travel outside of the UK for unlimited internet. As long as the country is in the EU or they are in the Schengen zone, then you automatically always have internet on the go. But this is not the same if the country is not in the Schengen region or if the country is not in the EU. So for example, if you have to travel to Albania or Montenegro, you're not going to get internet on your phone unless you buy the SIM in that local area. But I know that when I've traveled to places like Cyprus or Romania or Croatia, I've been able to use data on my Leica mobile at no additional cost, just because I am subscribed to the EU roaming plan. In my previous video, I said you had to do the medical insurance to apply for your visa. We're not doing this only for visa application. Every time you travel, you always have to ensure that you have medical insurance, because you don't want to be in another country stuck and you actually need medical intervention and you don't have medical insurance. So please and please always have medical insurance when you travel anywhere apart from the Schengen countries. But because we're talking about the Schengen countries and countries in Europe, I would just say when you travel to the Schengen countries. Lastly, I would say because it is very easy to travel within this region, for me personally, I would generally weigh my options. Sometimes it can be cheaper to take a plane between certain countries than for you to take a bus. Now, you would generally think that a bus would be cheaper. More often than not, you'd find that taking a plane or taking a train is cheaper. So when you're in this region as a means of transportation, it is best to keep your options open and look at all means of transportation before you travel. I hope this will help you plan your next travel to the EU countries and have the best time when you're traveling. Don't forget to like this post if you found it educative, and subscribe to my channel for more educative content like this. Let me know what next you would like to see on my channel. Bye.